As we kick off, I'd like to draw your attention immediately to this first slide, which envisions the project we're going to review at end of mine life. This is visual construction of what we expect, and what it shows you is a large porphyry copper development that we absolutely believe will be built. And I'm going to show you the economics and the study and perhaps try and provide for you the context of that belief. So in August last year, we completed a PEA based on an updated mineral resource estimate that establishes Santo Tomas as one of the most capital efficient, large-scale, low-cost copper projects in the world based on its porphyry geology. That belief is very much underpinned by our CEO's view. I've worked with Richard in the past at Diavik. He's built several projects, all on budget, on time, all in the plus $1 billion range, and he is absolutely convinced that this project is both buildable and will be built quickly and will operate in a relatively simple way. So on that basis, Mexico, yeah. So the PEA last year demonstrated for an initial capex of $1.1 billion, we could deliver a $1.5 billion post-tax NPV on a 22-year mine life. And what you see in the graphic are the essential elements of the site development at end of mine life. We're situated in the Laramide Belt at the southern end of it, and we're in a district with several known major deposits, including epithermal gold, the El Sosal gold mine closed by Goldcorp, now in care and maintenance with Newmont, the very large Baharachi porphyry copper deposit north of us, and Santo Tomas. And so it is a region with significant mineral endowment, and El Sosal, which you'll see over on the right-hand side of your screen, a great number of mineral deposits of various types, porphyry, skarn, and the epithermals such as El Sosal. And we believe that Santo Tomas is the anchor center of volcanicity in this region. Mexico, a mining giant, economic powerhouse in its own right, 12th ranked economy in the world, and copper, it's in a top 10 for copper, but gold and silver are mainstays, and the project we're discussing is a copper, gold, silver, moly project. Mexico is a source for significant FDI on a global basis, and Santo Tomas is a focus project for both the Sinaloan and Mexican national governments. Location is everything, location, 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 and Santo Tomas benefits from its location on the LEAP, multimodal trade and transport corridor, which has been a magnet for foreign direct investment over the last number of years, $11 billion going into fertilizer plants, largely based off a high-pressure Trans-Canada gas line that runs from the southern US to Topolobampo, the port that we would use for con shipping 160 kilometers southwest of us. So we're on that corridor proximal to rail, highway. We're a drive-up access at low elevation, and that's what underpins the compelling capital aspects of the Santo Tomas project. We're also blessed with the disposition of mineralization that presents us with the highest grade material, mineable without strip in the early part of mine life. So what you see here is the mill process feed plant plan. So for lesser tonnage, 60,000 ton a year of mill feed, we're getting at the high grade material first and getting to pay back 3.8 years post-tax into operations. That's the cash flow model. And as you can see, we're into positive cash flow in the second year of operations and payback mid-third year. The project, of course, is sensitive to commodity prices. The red line on the sensitivity graph reflects the commodity prices, but a 10% increase in the commodity prices, which is 90% underpinned by the gold value, gives us a plus $2 billion NPV off a $1.1 billion capital just on copper price. I'm focusing on the capital intensity, and here we're looking at the capital intensity on the left axis, which is the capital invested to get a ton of copper in annual production off your initial capital investment. And Santo Tomas is in the lower right-hand corner, showing that we're highly competitive when compared to the universe of porphyry coppers that are undeveloped at the present time. This is a similar treatment, but on the axis on the left, we are showing the NPV over initial capex. So greater return of NPV per unit of capex invested. And again, we compare very well to the peer group. This uses the same index on the left side. This is so the NPV over initial capex, but then dimensioning it against the IRR. And again, the yellow sphere is Santo Tomas against the global peer group. How did we get here? We started in 2020 with the acquisition of the project, doing geophysics. We then drilled 50,000 meters essentially of drilling. We combined that data with historical resources to put together the PEA. And we have very significant upside potential and optionality to follow. We do need to do a little further work to consolidate the resource for a PFS study. There are project opportunities, and those are largely geared to energy. And the cost of energy in the region is coming down, not up. And so we see that as a significant part of what we can do. And we're also in one of the very best places in the world to develop solar. And we have done no work yet to capture any solar upside. Back to the PEA, NPV of 1.5 billion rounded, 22% IRR, and a plus 100,000, almost 110,000 ton a year of copper equivalent production out of this project. So here we are with the resource statement. The north zone is well defined. It's an indicated category. South zone, we do require some work to move that 400,000 odd ton of sulfide into an indicated category in order for us to bring the resource through a PFS. And you can get a graphical sense of the work done in the north zone, high density drilling. South zone and the pit there requires infill in order to raise the classification of that resource. And we also have upside opportunity if we do further drilling in the so-called pillar zone to infill some resource there that we expect will enlarge the pit and provide some reasonable grade copper. And we also have opportunities off the southwest and southeast corners of that south pit, indicated by both geophysical in the case of the southeast component and outcropping materials at above average south pit grade in the outside the pit to the southwest. We've looked at this graph previously, but I'm going to use it as the basis for the graph to follow, which is the project valuation. So we're ranking the projects on the left side of the graphic. Globally, undeveloped porphyry, copper, and copper gold projects. And as we move across, we see the NPV, IRR, and annual life of mine volume production for Santo Tomas compared against that peer group. What I'd like to do is draw your attention as you look at the comparisons in terms of the project and the physicality with our market cap in comparison with the peer group. Now, a number of the projects sit in majors. I've grayed out their market caps since they're multi-project operators, and comparing them and us are somewhat irrelevant. But as you look at our junior company holders of projects of similar character to our own, you'll see that Oroco is a fairly low market cap, which I'd like you to keep in mind as we step forward. This is our share price and overlaid on a notional Lassonde curve by the good folks at Visual Capitalist. Certainly, we believe we're now moving into phase 2, and there's a transition valuation opportunity emerging, as one would anticipate in a Lassonde treatment. So where do we think this will go? Here we're looking at copper M&A by buyer size and scale. Oroco is a company that does not, as a focus, intend to develop Santo Tomas outside of an alliance or other arrangement with a well-financed partner. So just looking at copper M&A up to 2020, end of 2023, and this is treatment by S&P. When majors acquire copper, their aggregate valuation is around 13 cents a pound. Some of the intermediates seem to pay a little more for the opportunities at 15 cents. So we see a range really in transactions, which we'll dive into in a detailed sense, that average over 10 cents. So I've got a 10-cent line there, and this shows project acquisitions from 2016 through to late 2024, and their valuations in terms of pound paid per unit of copper equivalent. Oroco has we've just done a small financing. We're in the process of closing it. That was 50% participated by insiders led by our executive chairman, who's in the room with us here today, Craig DL. Prior to that, we were 640 million shares out. We're now 650, fully diluted 300 million shares. Insiders hold a shave over 11%. And we have a dominantly retail holding in the company. We're covered by Cantor Fitzgerald, Matt O'Keefe. His targets for Oroco when he started coverage in 2023 in July, it was $1.50. And last year in August, he saw us at $2. So we're well established on the site. We've made good investments in all of our infrastructure, a couple of camps, completely ready and at standards that we believe would allow us to partner directly with large operators. And we believe the world needs more copper, and that the Santo Tomas project is one of those projects that can offer 100,000 plus ton a year of copper to the global market for well in excess of 20 years.
Thank you very much, Jan. So we have time for questions. Start over here.
Hi, when do you plan to finish the PFS and then submit the application for permitting, environmental permitting? Thank you.
Aspirationally, we're looking at a PFS in the first half of next year.
You probably get asked this question many times, but what's the closeology of the bad boys in Mexico?
So clearly we're located in northern Sinaloa, and the activities presently are Culiacan, which is central, and down towards Mazatlan. There is obviously a history of activity in the region. In 2021, my wife and I, because of COVID, relocated to Choix, the town closest to the project. Linda took a leave of absence. I couldn't do the confinements that 2 weeks every time I came back from the project. So we were resident in Choix, and Choix is a mining jurisdiction. El Sal was there. And clearly at this point, particularly in the post-cannabis era, there's no cannabis being grown in that part of Mexico anymore. The legalizations in Canada and the US basically brought that to an end. and folks are looking for their mining jobs back. I get accosted at the gas station whenever I'm there by the ladies that run it, asking when are we getting our truck driving jobs back that we used to have at El Sal. So we have remarkable community support, and we've been insulated from any activity among the cartels that has been quite notable in the last while down in Culiacan.
Hi, I really enjoyed your presentation. Is that presentation available on the internet? Because I was very interested, like, is that an open presentation? I was very interested in your evaluation matrices.
Sure. No, we haven't posted it yet, but
Oh.
we intend to do that this evening or in the
Oh, okay,
morning.
great.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Really,
If you
really
take a
well
look
done.
tomorrow,
yeah.
you should
yeah.
find
No, very advanced. Very, very good.